8 years. That's how long it's been since the death of Harvey Dent. 8 years of this completely unprecedented peace in Gotham City, and it's all built entirely on the Uncompromising Dent Act. You know, the law that basically gave the police the teeth they needed to totally eradicate organized crime. But beneath all that surface-level tranquility, the actual architect of that peace, Bruce Wayne, is living as a crippled recluse, totally hidden away in the East Wing of Wayne Manor. So while Gotham is out there celebrating how safe it is, there is a massive storm quietly gathering in the shadows. And that impending storm actually arrives in the form of a master jewel thief, Selina Kyle. She sneaks into Wayne Manor, and at first, it seems like she's just there to steal a pearl necklace. But her real prize, Bruce Wayne's fingerprints. And when she's caught, she doesn't just run away. She leaves Wayne with this incredibly chilling warning about the stark class divide that's basically rotting Gotham from the inside out. Her words completely set the stage for what's coming. The elite have gotten way too complacent, living large, totally blind to the reckoning that is about to absolutely tear their fragile world apart. Because honestly, the reality of Gotham is completely split in two. On one hand, you have the public truth. Harvey Dent is worshipped as this flawless martyr, and the Dent Act has locked away 1,000 violent criminals in Blackgate Prison. Commissioner Gordon is just swallowing his guilt every single day, keeping a speech hidden that would reveal the ugly truth. But then you have the hidden reality. This entire golden age of peace, it's built on a complete lie. Batman didn't murder those people, Dent did. And because of that massive deception, Bruce Wayne has sacrificed his reputation, his own body, his entire life, really, just waiting for a crisis that finally hits in the form of a totally terrifying new enemy. Enter Bane. He's this absolutely ruthless mercenary who wears a terrifying mask. And he doesn't wear it to hide his face, he wears it to hold back the perpetual agony of an old injury. He was actually trained by the League of Shadows before Ra's al Ghul excommunicated him for being too extreme. Bane doesn't just want to take over Gotham, he literally claims to be Gotham's reckoning. He is this unstoppable force of necessary evil, and he shows up with a meticulously calculated plan to dismantle the entire city right from the inside out. And Bane executes this plan with just brutal, methodical efficiency. First, he uses those stolen fingerprints to attack the stock exchange, totally bankrupting Bruce Wayne and forcing him right out of his own company. Next, he lures almost the entire Gotham police force down into the underground sewers and just traps them there using explosive-laced concrete. Finally, and definitely most devastatingly, he infiltrates Wayne Enterprises' energy project. He seizes their prototype clean energy fusion reactor, yanks out the core, and weaponizes the whole thing into a fully primed 4-megaton neutron bomb. Talk about a ticking clock. The narrative tension here is off the charts, because the moment that core is removed, it starts to decay. Now, naturally, it would take about 5 months to detonate, but once Bane publicly reveals this bomb and declares martial law, that countdown violently accelerates to just 23 days. And by the time we hit the climax of the story, that window shrinks down to a terrifying 45 minutes. It's just this mechanical, unstoppable march toward complete annihilation. And Bane is holding millions of people hostage under the threat of a single anonymous triggerman. But here's the thing. Before Bane can trap the city, he has to take out its protector. Bruce is drawn out of retirement, but he's out of practice. When he finally confronts Bane down in the sewers, Bane is faster, he's stronger, and he is completely merciless. He literally breaks Batman's back over his knee. But physical destruction isn't enough for Bane. He wants psychological torture. So he banishes Bruce to the pit, this ancient, nightmarish underground prison. The absolute worst part of the pit is that it feeds you the illusion of hope. You can look up and see the sunlight at the top of this seemingly impossible climb. And Bane just leaves him down there, forcing Bruce to watch a live TV feed of Gotham slowly tearing itself to pieces. So Bruce is stuck in this pit, facing a profound philosophical dilemma. His back slowly heals, sure, but his spirit is still completely broken. He tries to make the climb using a safety rope, and he fails. Then, a blind prisoner poses a really intense question to him. How can you move faster than possible and fight longer than possible without the most powerful impulse of the human spirit, the fear of death? See, Bruce thought his lack of fear made him strong, but the prisoner points out it's actually making him weak. To survive, Bruce has to rediscover what it means to be terrified of dying down in that hole while his city burns. Which brings us to the ultimate thematic anchor of his entire journey, Bruce. Why do we fall? It's the echo of his father's voice from when he was a kid, reminding him that we fall so we can learn to pick ourselves back up. Finally, embracing that primal fear of death, Bruce Wayne steps up to the wall without the safety rope. This time, the fear finds him. It pushes his body and his spirit to the absolute limit, and he actually makes the impossible leap. He climbs out of the pit and starts the incredibly long journey back home. But the Gotham he returns to is basically a failed state. It's absolute chaos. The citizens are living in total terror, fed this false hope by Bane's twisted promise of a populist revolution. The police? They're either being hunted in the streets or they're slowly starving underground. Meanwhile, the criminals from Blackgate Prison have been set completely free. The old rules have become shackles. We literally see kangaroo courts being run by Jonathan Crane, where he's sentencing Gotham's elite to either death or exile. And spoiler alert, exile just means a freezing, horrific death walking out onto the river ice. But then, the symbol returns. Out of nowhere, Batman lights up a massive, flaming bat emblem on the bridge, sending a clear message to the whole city. He's back. He immediately goes and frees the trapped police officers, and what follows is just an all-out war in the streets of Gotham. It's a desperate, head-on charge by the police running straight into Bane's heavily armed mercenaries. In the middle of all this sheer chaos, Batman finally corners Bane. Fighting with this totally renewed ferocity, he damages Bane's mask, cutting off the flow of his painkiller, and brings the mercenary to his knees, demanding to know where the bomb's detonator is. And right there is where we get the story's most shocking twist. Right as Batman is demanding the trigger, his trusted ally Miranda Tate sneaks up and slips a knife right between his ribs. She reveals her true identity, Talia al Ghul. She is the actual child who was born in the pit, the child who made the climb. Bane wasn't Ra's al Ghul's heir, he was Talia's protector in the prison. Talia is the one holding the detonator. It turns out the slow knife really does cut the deepest. Her entire infiltration of Wayne Enterprises was this meticulously planned act of vengeance to finish her father's mission of wiping Gotham off the map. So Talia hits the detonator, fully expecting immediate, fiery annihilation. But nothing happens. Why? Because Commissioner Gordon actually managed to attach a jamming device to the bomb's truck, totally blocking the remote signal. But here's the catch. The jammer didn't actually stop the bomb. It only bought Gotham a final 11 minutes before that unstable core naturally decays and detonates all on its own. So the ticking clock hasn't stopped, it's just nearly out of time. Those final moments are just a total, desperate scramble. Talia tries to keep the bomb moving in a convoy so they can't get it back to the reactor chamber. Batman, flying his aircraft called the Bat, manages to force her truck off the road, which causes a fatal crash. But Talia's final act before drying is to remotely flood the reactor chamber. The GOM cannot be stabilized now. There are literally no other options. So Batman attaches a tow cable from his aircraft directly to this massive 4-megaton device, and he hauls it up into the sky, flying out over the open water of the bay. Right before he takes off, Commissioner Gordon is desperately asking for the identity of the hero who's saving them all. And Batman just looks at him and replies that a hero can be anyone, even a man doing something as simple and reassuring as putting a coat around a young boy's shoulders. In that split second, it all clicks for Gordon. He remembers the exact night Bruce Wayne's parents were murdered, and he realizes he's been talking to Bruce this whole time. Batman flies out over the water, and the bomb detonates in this massive, blinding explosion, completely clear of the city. The symbol of Batman has finally fulfilled its ultimate purpose. In the aftermath, the entire city of Gotham mourns its fallen savior. Standing in front of a newly built memorial, Commissioner Gordon delivers this incredibly poignant eulogy, reading a passage from A Tale of Two Cities. I see a beautiful city and a brilliant people rising from this abyss. It's this powerful testament that Batman's sacrifice wasn't for nothing. The corrupt structures, all those years of deceptions, they've finally been wiped clean. Gotham actually has a real chance to rebuild itself on a foundation of genuine resilience. But wait, because amidst all the mourning, there is this incredible trail of subtle clues left behind. First, Bruce Wayne's will dictates that Wayne Manor is to be left to the city, but specifically to serve as an orphanage for at-risk children. Then, back at Applied Sciences, Lucius Fox makes a crazy discovery. The broken autopilot on the Bat was actually patched by Bruce Wayne 6 months ago. And lastly, when they inventory the Wayne estate, one specific string of pearls is missing. Cut to a sunny cafe in Florence where Alfred is sitting alone. He looks across the tables and gives a subtle, knowing nod to a man sitting right there with Selina Kyle. Bruce Wayne actually found his life beyond the cave. And the legacy doesn't end there. Detective John Blake, who has grown totally disillusioned with the restrictive, bureaucratic rules of the police force, decides to resign. He follows a set of coordinates that were left for him in Bruce Wayne's will. He hikes out into the wilderness and literally discovers the Batcave. But just before that moment, as he's picking up his inheritance from the clerk, he reveals his actual legal name, Robin. The legend survives. But it definitely leaves us with one final, provocative question to think about. Was Batman ever just a man who saved a city? Or is he this immortal symbol, just patiently waiting in the shadows for the next person brave enough to put on the mask?